wife at great profit, which was a conflict, and so he pled guilty to corruption. Guess what the city of Vernon just did? Just now. No, they owed him $500,000, so they just paid it.
Yeah.
He was in
If they can
business.
make a profit, why can't we?
I don't know, but I think putting it to a vote for the animals is a great idea.
Now,
Yes.
let's talk about the use of our taxpayers' money and the law. There's a beach right at Camp Pendleton.
Yes, there is. San Onofre, beautiful beach.
If you've been following
Yeah.
that. And there's a lot of nudists on the beach there. And so
I didn't know that.
So it's federal property.
You know what my wife says to me
What?
as we're on the freeway above San Onofre Beach? It's a one-word direction. Drive.
So California has this cover-up law, and so they're trying to get park rangers to cite the, quote, nudist that are on the beaches in front of San Onofre.
And how do the park rangers get close to the groups of nudists?
How do they?
I guess they have to go undercover.
So we're spending a lot of money now with the budgetary problems on the park rangers going out to cite the nudists. Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
I know. You can't even see the beach from the road. That's why my wife says, drive. Okay, I got one for you. The British comedian who showed up at the Parliament's committee inquiry for Rupert Murdoch and his son James, threw a pie at Rupert and was intercepted. He just got time in jail. Jonathan May Bowles, 26, who goes by the comedian's name Johnny Marbles, he has to pay a $407 fine and what else? 6 weeks in prison.
Unbelievable. 1-800-405-4222. Your questions do not have to be highfalutin. We're talking about just various things in the law, but we deal with traffic tickets, whether or not you can, whether you got to pay your taxes.
What you can expect if you throw a pie at the face of the biggest media mogul in the world.
Now, okay.
Should we go back to the phone, Steve?
Sure.
We've been jabbing away for a while.
Yeah,
Let's talk to somebody else for a bit. Jason, come on in and talk to us.
Hey, good afternoon. How you guys doing?
What's
We're doing
happening?
very well.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Los Angeles.
What part of L.A.?
I'm in downtown.
Okay. How can we help you?
I got sperm in my goddamn dick.
What?
There's a serious thing happening in Fullerton.
Is this the guy that calls it?
Yeah, every once in a while. You know, it's amazing. Some people don't have enough to do in life, I guess.
The obscene caller. Okay. So the whole red light.
Oh, you want to talk about red lights? I want to talk about the death in Fullerton.
Oh yeah.
But let's talk about red lights because I think that affects everybody. The city of Los Angeles, the city council, has been going back and forth for quite some time about the effect of red light cameras, the cost of red light cameras, the fairness of red light cameras, and whether or not they wanted to continue.
Now, they were originally politically put in because they were going to stop intersection accidents.
Sure.
That was the original intent.
And here's what happened.
That's what the original intent was.
They stopped T-bone accidents, cars running the red light and hitting a car going the other direction, but they generated rear-end accidents.
Well, but what you probably don't remember is that there were a gazillion months when they forgot to turn them on. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
So
now
then
that you say it, I remember.
Then they turned them back on. Okay.
Right.
So as of...
Then there was a question as to whether or not they were calibrated properly.
There's all kinds of... Forget about the legal stuff on it.
Oh,
so
okay.
There were... My recollection is there were 32 cameras in the whole city of L.A. Now, we're not talking about Culver City or Beverly Hills or all these other cities all over Southern California that got their own cameras. Mm-hmm. We're just talking about the city of L.A. in this particular city. So as of the last day of July, they're gone. They're down. They're off. They're supposed to get off the standards, etc. So is that good? Is that bad? Does it mean anything?
I think this
Are accidents going to increase at those corners?
Personally, I doubt it. I don't know that there was a substantial decrease before. I think part of the justification for red light cameras was that it was supposed to be revenue producing, which doesn't. I mean, it's nice for the city of Los Angeles to make money off people who run red lights. I guess that's.
Well, no, but that revenue doesn't really go to the city.
Well,
most of that revenue goes to every other kind of thing you can think about.
I know. The little piece goes to the city, some goes to the county, a lot
and
goes to the state.
a $75 ticket can be $500 when you add all the penalties assessments.
That's all true. Oh my gosh, yes.
So they're big tickets.
Most of the violations, we find out now that during this debate with the city council, most of the red light violations were at rolling right turns through the intersection. So going through a red light is a very, very dangerous thing. Going through a red light to take a right turn is also dangerous, but on a scale of 1 to 10, it's not nearly as dangerous as just simply going through the intersection.
Oh, I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, that's what the city council's debate was all about.
I don't know whether that's true.
To some extent.
I know what you're right.
But statistically, most of those red light tickets were for right turns against the red light.
But what about all the tickets before July 31st, 2011?
How about all the tickets after July 31st? That's easier. There aren't any.
There aren't going to be any.
I know.
Supposedly.
That's easy. I like.
What
that
about all the
question
ones
better.
that are before now that haven't come to court?
Well,
Don't answer that question. I don't know the answer, but that's going to be an
sorry. I always like answering questions.
An interesting phenomenon.
We were getting conflicting messages from the city council and from the police department during this debate. There were representatives of those entities that said, if you have a red light ticket, make sure you take care of it, even though we're getting rid of the cameras. And there was another component of both the PD and the city council that said, if you have a red light ticket, you have to take care of it. It's going to stay on your record. You're going to be in trouble. So I don't know. And speaking of trouble, this is one of the worst things.
I think we're supposed to take. I think they want to.
They want us to take a break.
They want to do some.
Like we just did that recently.
Commercials.
When we come back, we've got a video. I want to show this to you. It's a little bit different from other videos we've seen, and it's going to generate, I think, an interesting conversation, at least between the two of us. We'll be back in just a little bit. You'll be calling us at 1-800-405-4222 and tweeting us at Legal Help Live, and we'll be back in a moment. We are back. Legal Help Live. Ralph here, Steve there. We're taking your questions at 1-800-405-4222. And we have a tweet question from Jevin who wants to know, since he's doing a music promotion on private property, he expects about 250 adults there. Should they get insurance? And the answer is...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Nobody in their right mind would do an event in any place within the borders of California without some kind of insurance, because out of those 200 wackos that you're going to have at whatever this party is, one of them may get hurt, and one of those people will sue you.
All it takes is one.
They have a brother-in-law, sister-in-law, relative, friend, neighbor who is a lawyer.
And then the
and if
promoter,
you don't have insurance, you could be personally liable for all this.
Yeah, and then if you're the promoter and you come back and say in your defense, but they signed a waiver.
Well, that's another interesting situation.
It's a very interesting situation, but I wouldn't trust it going in. I would get the insurance.
I wonder if you can get insurance. That's another problem.
And
you can probably get it. What's going to cost? There's all these problems.
Oh yeah.
But if you're the startup promoter with no money and no assets, maybe it's a business question. But if you have any kind of assets, etc., and you don't have insurance, you're going to end up paying for your own defense and maybe paying some judgment.
Well, if they invite Bob Dylan, he may say, if you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose. But I'd still get insurance. We got a video I want to show.
Okay, let's watch the video.
Is it ready?
You got it.
I don't see it. I see us.
Okay, we are...
This is a video of us. This is getting exciting. I can see it coming. I see a...
Okay.
Well, actually, that's not the one I... No.
All right, well, let's see. What's this one? This is
It's different. But
okay.
Whatever.
We're driving on a motor scooter.
Somebody?
Oh!
Okay. What happened?
It looked like you on a motor scooter just hit a car.
That's right.
So what's
any lawsuits in there?
For who?
Let's pretend. Well, people on motorcycles are pretty exposed. So let's pretend.
No, so let's just do.
We'll do this one. We'll do the other one next time. Let's assume that the motorcycle, he looked like he was going pretty fast. Let's assume that the motorcycle was going 60 miles an hour,
right,
and this is a 25-mile zone.
Okay.
The car pulled out, I think, unsafely. So I think if this is California, I think that maybe the car is somewhat liable, and I think the motorcycle, because he was going too fast, somewhat liable.
Okay, so we
no injuries to the person in the car, but the motorcycle, because it's a motorcycle,
yeah,
I'll bet he's really damaged.
So the motorcycle person sues the car person.
Right.
And assuming there was no fault on the motorcycle person, he could or she could recover if the car pulls out in front of him in violation of the vehicle code, making an unsafe turn or pulling
right
out. The person could recover the full amount of their damages.
Let's say it's $1 million.
The pain and suffering, and let's assume it adds up to $1 million.
Right.
If, in fact, the person's going excessively too fast, then a court or jury, if they award damages, is required to reduce the amount of damages by the percentage of comparative negligence of the motorcycle. So, for instance, if the jury or court finds that the motor person was 75% of the cause of the problem by going too fast, and it was $1 million, the $1 million would be reduced by 75%, or a net of $250,000.
How about if the motorcycle rider is 75% negligent, and the car driver is injured to the extent of, say, I don't know, $1,000? How does all that shake out?
Well, again, if the car driver sues the motorcycle person,
right, they sue each other.
Then there may be a judgment for $1,000 less the 25%.
Right. So the car driver gets $750, and the motorcycle, even though he was mainly guilty, liable, gets $250,000.
And the $750 would be set aside against the $250.
Oh, there you go.
So the guy would only get
okay, so that's
$249 something
right,
or other.
$250. You know. Interesting law in California.
Well, but it used to be in California before we had comparative negligence that if you're 1% at fault, the driver,
right,
you'd get nothing.
Right.
And that was changed